When you think of the 80s, it's hard to ignore the impact that the band Heart had on the charts. Seemingly out of nowhere and a stalled career, the band, headed up by Ann and Nancy Wilson, scored hit after hit after hit. They also had time to record some cracker B-sides as well. I had a slightly embarrassing high school moment in 1990 when I was talking with a girl in my class about Heart's #1 Aussie hit from their Brigade album. She asked me, "So what's the song called?" And I said, "All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You." And without a hesitation, she replied, "Do you really?" But before we get any further, you know what I want you to do. Please do the YouTube stuff and like, subscribe and comment. You help me make this channel better every week and you inspire me to continue making these videos. Thank you. With a massive catalogue of hit songs, deep cuts, and spanning decades, everybody, well, of a certain age, has a memory attached to one of Heart's songs. Whether it's the 70s hits like Magic Man or Barracuda, or the 80s power anthems like Alone or If Looks Could Kill, or even more recent releases, Heart remain, even today, a powerhouse band with a true legacy of work. So, let's get into it. Welcome to Should Have Been on the Album. Heart commenced its journey in 1973, evolving from previous bands such as The Army, Hocus Pocus and White Heart. Come 1975, with the release of Dreamboat Annie, the band comprised of Ann and Nancy Wilson, guitarist Roger Fisher and Howard Leese, bassist Steve Fossen, and drummer Michael DeRosier. Their debut album contained iconic tracks such as Magic Man and Crazy on You, showcasing a unique fusion of hard rock with folk elements and a nod to Led Zeppelin, establishing Heart's signature sound. Little Queen was released in '77, featuring the hit Barracuda, and was soon followed by Magazine and Dog and Butterfly in 1978. But record company issues and splitting personal relationships saw a change in the band's lineup. In 1980, Heart released Baby Lestrange, and it became the third album in a row to hit the top 10. But in 1982, fortunes began to shift downwards, with Private Audition seeing more members fired from the band, and 1983's Passion Works failing to reach gold status. But while their contract with Epic Records was finished, there were moments of hope, with Passion Works' single How Can I Refuse topping the charts, and the 1984 Footloose duet Almost Paradise, which featured Ann Wilson, claiming a top 10 spot. Come the mid-1980s, Heart experienced a paradigm shift, marked by a refined sound and polished production, and a new contract with Capitol Records. Albums like Heart in 1985 and Bad Animals in 1987 catapulted the band to new heights, with hits like What About Love and Alone dominating the charts. Both these dreams from Heart and Alone from Bad Animals would net them #1 spots. Heart's prowess in crafting hits continued throughout the late 80s and early 90s, with albums such as Brigade, featuring the smash All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You, and Desire Walks On. The mid-90s and early 2000s marked a brief hiatus for Heart, allowing the Wilson sisters to explore individual projects. But they would return in 2004 with Jupiter's Darling, and again in 2010 with Red Velvet Car. The band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013, but then took another break in 2016, with the sisters again exploring side projects. In 2023, Ann and Nancy Wilson won the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. American Songwriter reported recently that new material from Heart is on the way, which is exciting for all fans of the band. But for today, we're heading back to the 80s and checking out the first single from their comeback album, Heart, and notably, a song on the flip side called Heart of Darkness. Heart of Darkness was written by the Wilson sisters, along with band members Howard Leese, Mark Andis, Denny Kamasi, and lyricist John Bettis. Ann Wilson takes lead vocals on the track. It was produced by Ron Neverson, who produced the Heart album, so you can probably assume that it was written and recorded around the same time as the other tracks on the album. It was released as the B-side for What About Love, but it also appeared as the B-side for the UK limited edition of Never/These Dreams. Lyrically, the song finds a couple lying together, taking each other in.
Lying here with you, finally we're alone. You read my touch, oh baby. You pulled me on
But there's something about their relationship which means that they have to find their moments and keep it under wraps.
Wings of the wind, with fingers in our hair, the eyes of nighttime, keep our secret there. In the heart of darkness, the heart of darkness.
However, the chemistry is too strong and they aren't willing to let it go.
The morning won't come, we'll hold back this night. We're gonna flower from the love we made tonight.
Is it a secret tryst? Is it a love affair or a forbidden night meeting? Whatever it is, it's passionate and it needs to be kept in the darkness. Musically, while the song is tonally in keeping with the rest of the 1985 self-titled release, there's a bit more rawness to it. It opens with a typically 80s sounding keyboard motif, before the song powers up with drums and guitar at the front. Anne's vocals are absolutely top-notch, and there's a sense of determination and passion. You can really hear the whole band giving it all in the track, and maybe that's because they all had a hand in writing it. Just check out the excellent ride cymbal work from the drums in the chorus.
In the heart of darkness, the heart of darkness.
I wonder if the song didn't quite make it to the final polish stage, because it sonically has more guts to it compared to the songs on the final track listing. The drums and the guitars seem to be more forward in the mix as compared to much of the LP. But then again, that might just be me. Still, it's a powerhouse of a song and showcases every member of the band superbly. So keep the singles, and that's practically the entire first side. If Looks Could Kill is a great opener with awesome harmonies and a declaration that Heart is back. Then comes a sequence of class tracks. What About Love, Never, and These Dreams. Side 1 finishes with The Wolf, a song with some serious swagger and a track written by the whole band again. You can hear the different influences in the song as it moves from section to section. Side 2 opens with the upbeat All Eyes, with its driving rhythm section and beautiful harmonies. The ballad Nobody Home is next, complete with pensive keyboards, and it's a moment of musical diversity and introspective emotional depth. Their fourth single, Nothing at All, sits in the middle of side 2, and is followed by the more mid-tempo acoustic and percussion-infused What He Don't Know. The whole album finishes with the rock of Shell Shock, which again showcases the grit and power of the band. Well, damn, it's an album of killer tracks and no less than 4 top 10 singles. And the sequencing of the album is great too. It really takes you on a journey. So is there a spot for Heart of Darkness? Look, I honestly don't know. It's got to come down to a track from side 2. All Eyes, Nobody Home, or What He Don't Know. And I think I'd pull out What He Don't Know. But I would also re-sequence side 2, so that Heart of Darkness opened it with a bang, and then put All Eyes at track 9 in place of What He Don't Know. But then, do we really need a third ballad in the form of Nobody Home, especially with What About Love and These Dreams on side 1? I do think that Heart of Darkness deserves a spot on the album, but it's a coin toss as to where. It's a strong track, and for it to be lost in the musical annals of time is a definite shame. It also demonstrates the prowess of the band as a whole unit, as a songwriting team. But then, maybe including it would have swayed the balance of the album, especially when the whole purpose of the release was aimed at generating mainstream commercial success. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Heart has released a stack of demos, outtakes and B-sides on their Strange Euphoria triple CD release, but Heart of Darkness was not included. And if you can, it's worth tracking down the 3 bonus tracks from their Brigade release, which were included on a mini CD for Japan. It's also interesting to look at who else was involved in the making of the 1985 album. You've got Mickey Thomas and Grace Slick of Starship, Johnny Collar of Huey Lewis and the News, and Frankie Sullivan of Survivor. Now that is some serious pedigree. So what's your call on Heart of Darkness? On the classic 10-track album, was there a spot for it? Make sure you drop your comments below. And as always, if you have an idea for a B-side or a rare track that you think I should check out, please let me know. You can also now email me on shouldvebeenonthealbum@gmail.com and share your thoughts and your stories. You can also find us now on Facebook. Woo! But until next time, my name is Drew, and you've been watching Should Have Been on the Album. Cheers.